It's time for chemistry, and I would like to welcome you to Introduction to Chemistry. This one is a topic that is welcoming you, or is welcoming any student who has just arrived from primary school. And you will realize that whatever I'm going to introduce you to, before now we start the real chemistry, is just a review of what you have been or you are doing in primary school. Remember, in primary it was just science, but here we are splitting into three. We have chemistry, we have physics, and we have biology. So all of them is science actually. So now I want to introduce to you what you were studying in primary is a science, but lies in the side of chemistry. Then now we start learning the real chemistry of high school. So introduction to chemistry is actually, I will have to give you the objectives that we are supposed to cover in this topic. First of all, we'll start by looking at a matter. What's a matter? Not, when I talk about matter, there are many other words which are almost pronounced the same as matter. But in this case, I'm talking about, the one that has mass and occupies space. I'm not talking about matter, the opposite of other. No, anyway, even your mom is also a matter because she has mass and she occupies space. So actually, now, I want us to look at matter. We look at the properties of matter. We look at mixtures. We look at conductors and non-conductors. Then we look at the drugs and drug abuse. Those are what we are calling it Introduction to Chemistry. I'm actually reviewing to you what you are studying in primary. And remember, it's the first topic. I'll be working with you. When you are done with this topic, move to the next topic, or simply next video in my channel, known as the Ambassador Foundation, and you will find all my videos there. So you can subscribe to it for daily. Anytime I post a video, anytime I see something important that can help you, I will just post it because I know it will reach you. So now, first of all, let's define matter. We say it is that matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. It is anything that occupies space and has mass. We have three states of matter. States of matter, we have solid, we have liquid, then we have gas. The three are states of matter. One can change to the other depending on the temperature conditions. If you increase temperature, a solid will change to liquid, and liquid will change to gas. If you reduce temperature, gas will change to liquid, liquid will change back to solid. So a factor that we vary so that the three states of matter can change to another one is simply the temperature. You can increase or reduce the temperature so that they can change. Now, very fast, because you know it already, changing of state from solid to liquid, we call it melting. Changing of state from liquid to gas, evaporation. And from gas back to liquid, condensation. And from liquid back to solid, we call it freezing, or the common name is solidification. So those are the things that you already know. Then we have other special types substances that when you heat, they don't go through the intermediate stage, they change directly to gas. And when you cool, they still change directly to what? To solid. We say the process is known as sublimation. Whatever sublimes, whatever when heated changes directly to gas, we say that substance sublimes. We have almost 6 substances that are now known that sublimes. Maybe when you grow up, you will still come with another one, but I will give you one. The other 5, I make it an assignment. You go and try to find out. The common one is what you are also thinking, that I'm going to give as an example. It is actually iodine. I know you are thinking of the same, and exactly it's what I've said. Iodine. Then, whatever it is being heated and changes directly to gas, it is the same substance, but when it is being cooled, it changes directly to solid. When it changes directly from solid to gas, we say sublimation. Likewise, it is also sublimation when it changes from gas directly to solid. But we tend to give a special name when it changes directly from gas to solid, we call it deposition. That is it. So, and whatever undergoes sublimation also undergoes deposition. That is it. That is about the 3 states of matter. Before we look at something else, we can look at the properties of these states of matter. Properties in terms of volume, in terms of mass, and in terms of shape. You see, we have what? Let me talk of mass. Let me talk of volume. Let me talk of shape. In a summary form, all the 3 states of matter have a definite mass, meaning they have mass. They have a definite mass. So you either tell me whether they have a definite mass or indefinite mass. But now I'm telling you, all of them, the 3 have a definite mass. Volume. Solid has a definite volume. Liquid has a definite volume. Gas has indefinite volume. You cannot find the volume of a gas simply because you can compress it. Even if you just, in this room, for example, it's very big. 10 meters by 25 meters by 5 meters up, it's a very big volume. But even if you just bring it here, a small amount of gas, it will occupy the whole room. You bring a large amount of gas, it will still occupy the whole room. But if you bring here solid, it will only occupy that space. It will not occupy the whole room. So, gases have indefinite volume. Now shape. It is only solid that has definite shape. The rest, that is liquid and gas, have indefinite shape. For example, look at this. I have a container of this manner. When you put gas here, it will occupy all the space. It will, that's being indefinite because regardless of the shape of the container, it will occupy anywhere. Liquid will act the same, it will just move it. But when you try to put solid, the solid will just occupy somewhere here. They will never rise. They have definite shape. So that is it, and that's about the properties of matter. We will still study more as we pursue chemistry at the higher levels. So let's move on. Now, this is the properties of matter. Now, the next thing I want us to look at is the mixtures. This one, I'm not going to talk much about the same because there is another topic that's coming that we are supposed actually to study. It's the classification of substances. One, it's our next topic. We shall be talking more about mixtures. And now, because we shall be talking more about mixtures, so I just tell you, when you bring 2 substances which are different together, and then you put them together, and you are able to see that these substances are different. For example, base and beans, we call it a mixture. They can be solids, liquids, gases that they can mix together. As long as it's not pure substance, we call it a mixture. Also, as we are moving on, there's another term that is so close to mixture, we call it compound. We will still discuss on the same. So let's not stay here for so long. Let's just do something else. Let's move to something else because now, mixtures, we will still cover it in detail. So let's look at what we call conductors and non-conductors. Even here, I will not say so much because as we are moving on, in fact, much of it we will study about conductors and non-conductors in this manner. A conductor can allow heat to pass through. A conductor can allow electrical energy to pass through. Non-conductor is the one that do not allow heat to pass through. Again, it does not allow electrical energy to pass through. Whether you use heat or electrical energy, all of them is or are definition of conductors. Most metals are conductors. Most non-metals are non-conductors. But when it comes to electrical energy, we have a non-metal that is not a metal. Okay, it's a non-metal but allows current to pass through. That is graphite. Graphite is a form of carbon, just like a charcoal. So that is it. Now, I want us to discuss drugs and drug abuse. It's, we are still reviewing whatever you learned in primary school. Then now, next one, we looked at the chemistry. We looked at what is chemistry. We looked at now what you guys wanted to learn. So when it comes to drugs and drug abuse, all over the world now. Whatever parents are fighting for, there are people who are taking drugs. You know, it has become a menace. Now, I'm teaching you about drug and drug abuse, not to go and start using it. I'm teaching you so that you avoid it. If there is one favor you can do me, anyone who can listen to me, and you are listening to my words right now, please, don't give a try. Don't make that trial. Don't test. Don't envy someone using drugs. They are not happy. They are trying to get out of it, but they cannot. So don't get to somewhere where someone is struggling to come out and you want to go there. You may get there, that person gets out. But now when you try to come out, you will not. I will tell you what I mean. So there are terms I want us to talk about. And when I talk about drugs is not something bad. It's only that it's a general term. Medicines you take when you are sick are drugs. But now, kuna ile side ingine ya drugs which we will be talking about, which I will also still warn you not to give a trial. So, but in general, they are drugs. Now, let's define the term drug. We say it is a substance, natural or artificial, which when taken alters the normal body functions. Whatever, when you take it, affects the functioning of your body in a normal way, then that one is a drug. Whatever it is, even tea, even coffee, they are drugs, but we will classify them as soft drugs. Number two, there are two terms you guys always, you tend to confuse. Drug misuse, drug abuse. Drug abuse is using drugs for the wrong purpose other than the intended one. You see, for example, now alcohol are actually very beneficial, especially in hospitals. They can be used as surgical, to sterilize maybe anything that is used to cut. It can be used to sterilize whatever is being used, even a surface. Alcohol can be used to sterilize the surface. Any bacteria that comes into contact with alcohol, it dies. But now we have someone who has misused alcohol. When someone has stress, instead of taking water and dancing a favorite song, you go and take alcohol. That is, you are abusing that given drug. It's not meant for that. Number two, drug misuse. Drug misuse is taking overdose or underdose of drugs. A doctor kills you. It is where your doctor clashes with your maths teacher. Your doctor will clash with your maths teacher. 1 times 3 equals to 3. 3 times 1 equals to 3. Now, a doctor will tell you, can you take these tablets 1 times 3? By the end of the day, you will have taken 3. Then another one will tell you, take 3 times 1. By the end of the day, you will have taken 3. That's now from your maths teacher. But when you are told to take 1 times 3, you take 1 in the morning, in the noon, and evening. So that's because your maths teacher told you that the two are the same. You just wake up in the morning and you take 3 times 1. You will be taken back to where you are given these drugs for some proper guidance. So that is, if you take overdose or underdose, that is a drug misuse. Now, let's look at this. These things we are talking about drugs, can we give examples? And we don't give examples of all drugs. We give examples of the drugs that, youth, old people, women, men, Africans, Asians, always abuse, not misuse, abuse. Alcohol is one of them, anthrax, heroin, cat is miraa, bank, the cannabis, and so many others. Tobacco, which when you take, it alters the normal body functions. Yes, so that is it. Now, then we have this other side there, the medicinal ones. The medicinal is the one that you take under a given prescription, under a given dose. This one is a dose. So also you are supposed to actually define the term dose and prescription. Dose is the amount of medicine you are supposed to take at a given time. Amount of medicine. I'm not saying drugs. You can still use the word drugs, But now, because they are medicinal dose, it's the amount of medicine that you are supposed to take at a given time. Prescription is given instructions by a qualified medical officer on how and when medicine or drugs should be administered. Don't just meet anybody then start giving you instructions. I am saying go and get a qualified medical officer. When that medical officer, let me use the word she, because most of them are she's, when she gives you the instructions you are being given by that qualified medical officer, we call it, what do you call it? We call it prescription. Last thing, we have effects of drugs. Long-term effects, short-term effects. Some are long and both, the short. So what is there is, you are supposed actually to do this. Be able to classify the long-term and the short-term effects of drugs. It wasn't a short-term. Short-term is the ones when you take it, you feel the effects immediately. And when you stop using them, there are no effects. Like drowsiness, staggering, stammering, such things, hallucination, you see things that do not exist. Those are the short-term effects. Then we have now the long-term. Even when you stop today using drugs, you will still suffer it for a very long time. I was saying this at the beginning. There are people who are abusing drugs. They are trying by all means to get out of those drugs, but they can't. Why? They are addicted. So addiction or dependency, don't say they are different. Dependency is the same as saying addiction. Yes. So, you have used it, you cannot stay without it. Someone cannot stay without smoking cigarette. That is slavery. That's why I'm saying please don't. We have death, you can die. We have financial matters. You waste a lot of time looking for drugs. You use the money to buy drugs. Social problems. You got married to your very handsome husband, but after 5 years, he starts taking alcohol, doing all kinds of things. The families will break. Those are the effects. And many, many others that even the effects, long-term effects of drugs. That is it. Let me give you an assignment as we are winding up our lesson. Classify the drugs into the hard drugs and soft drugs. I'll give example in this case. Hard drug, for example, is back. Soft, for example, alcohol. Now, take your time, classify them. Do me a favor, please, don't ever think of starting drugs. Don't ever think of starting to abuse drugs that people are abusing. Those people, they are struggling, but they will never tell you. They also want you to get there so that you struggle to get there. Do me that favor. God bless you.